We are going to start off with a certain head coach that just saw his Boston Celtics squad get torched in Game 3, gone down without a single win so far here in the Eastern Conference Final. Joe Mazzulla steps into the office, Michael. He, of course, replaced Ime Udoka as the Celtics head coach after he was relieved of his duties early this season. Mazzulla's only other head coaching gig was Division II Fairmont State. He got thrust into this position. There were questions in the series against the Celtics if they were to lose that set, if Joe Mazzulla would be fired. The questions are arising once again. Should Mazzulla keep his job after this is all said and done? How can you accelerate his learning curve? If he steps into your office, what's he need to hear?
I think you need to have a sense of confidence. And I know confidence can only come from experience, which you don't have a lot of. But every time you stand in front of the media or sit in front of the media and you project a lack of confidence, it becomes an erosion of your team. Yesterday you talked about you got to figure it out. Your job isn't to figure it out after the game. Your job is to figure it out before the game. And you can't go to a press conference looking confused and wondering and not answering questions. I'm not saying you should throw anybody under the bus, but I think you need to have a clear and concise answer for why your team played as poorly as they did. And the more you look like a deer in the headlights, the more you look so uncertain, your team can't look to you for confidence. That's the role of a coach. The coach is supposed to solve problems, not look for solutions. He solves them. And you have that deer in the headlight look, and it's not really having your team feel anything. When Marcus Smart comes out and says you're learning, you're basically taking water in your leadership boat, and that's affecting you. And I think the play of your team, the way you've kind of manipulated this into trying to play this humble part, well, you're a leader. Leaders have to be able to project confidence, and I think that's the number one thing you must work on. I don't know if you're going to get an opportunity, because if I were the general manager of the team, I would have a hard time bringing you back, because that lack of confidence has eroded into our team.
Yeah, and you said it. We saw it in the press conference, looking down, saying this, I didn't have my team ready. That's all I can really say is I didn't have my team ready. How much is this a product of youth, being 34 years old? Yeah. It's crazy to think he and Jimmy Butler are the same age. Our guy Elliott shared a stat with us that the last time Jimmy Butler and Joe Mazzulla faced off in an elimination game was when Marquette beat West Virginia in the second round of the 2011 Big East tournament. These two played against each other.
You know, it is. And you have to fault the Celtics for putting him in. He wasn't ready for the job. Just like I don't think Jonathan Gannon's ready for his job, right? One thing we do with these coaches is we put them into these jobs and we assume they're ready. Shane Steichen, is he ready to handle all the things that come with being the head coach of the Colts? He's a young guy. Do you have enough experiences? Do you have enough sense of history? Do you have enough sense of what it takes to be a great coach, a leader? Those are hard things. And I think this is one of those where Joe got ahead of his skis a little bit here, and Brad Stevens has to accept responsibility for this as much as anyone, because he put him in this job, and he wasn't ready for the job. I would be shocked. I would be really shocked if they brought him back. They can say all the right things, but if they bring him back, I think what they're saying is they can repair him. I'm not sure that's the case.
And I'm not sure why they jumped the gun the way that they did, just because at the time that they did take off the interim tag, yes, they were the top team in the Eastern Conference at the time, but you still knew that all of this team had carried over from last year, a team that made the NBA Finals and were poised to make another run this season. I just don't think it was necessary to do it at the time they did, and now they've put themselves here in a pretty tough position. Okay, from one head coach.
I agree.
Go ahead.
I agree. I think they did that more for theatrics and political statement. I'm not sure he really got a guaranteed contract to move forward. I think what happens is the further you move away from Udoka and you move into the Mazzulla era, the less effective this has become. And I think that's very clear.
Go to VSiN.com/subscribe to become a VSiN Pro subscriber today.